Loves it.
Big fans. We're sitting here with Terry Joyce, Hollywood Hemptress on Atomic Comedy Network. It's just AtomicComedyNetwork.com?
Yeah, it's AtomicComedy.com. But it's the Atomic Comedy Network. And Michael, the site looks really good. And we also have a Ganja Palooza page because that's the show that we're going to be doing. We had an idea of we wanted to do some sort of celebration somewhere in one of the states that legalized cannabis. And originally I had been at Joker's Comedy Club, and the manager at the time goes, I want to bring you back, because it was the first crowd I realized that actually really embraced me as talking about weed or, whatever. They even put on the poster when they marketed me, and they said also, it was like Last Comic Standing, normal show live, and I was like, wow, I never saw anybody do that before, and so I ended up having this wonderful set that night, which really excited me. And what excited me the most was how well the marijuana material went, from talking about being in a raid to not just going up and just doing stereotypical, hey man, I got the munchies, but to actually go, make humor out of, the elements of, here's why we're oppressed as people, because I think that's really the underlying message. And it's those states that have experienced that as they try to progress their own laws. I think that community actually resonates with what might be humorous in that. And so, I actually taped it I didn't know they were taping it, so I've actually used that as my DVD, because for me it was that's the kind of the set or of what I would like to sell, basically, but we decided to take the show. We got this idea. Well, let's produce a show, and what would we call it? And we went Ganja Palooza Live, and we decided to do it in Richland because, originally, Bobby wanted to bring me back for a 420 celebration, and then Bobby left that company, and then that club goes, well, we don't know about doing that, blah 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 blah, but we still decided to band together and open it up somewhere. So we did, and it's been an interesting experience producing it because originally, Michael had a really good tie with who's producing the show with me, who's Rupert Declo. Right. He has a really good tie with Cherry Creek Radio, and Cherry Creek Radio, he almost got it to where he'd done other shows where they would advertise it, and then they would just take the cut from a percentage of the ticket sales, and sometimes they do very well and sell it out by 200 people. And he wanted to ask them, hey, do you want to do this over here in Richland? And they were very discriminatory about it. I mean, to the point where they actually got him on a conference call, and hopefully he'll call in and give you his his take on the story, because at first Michael was kind of ambivalent about we were together working on the show, but my subject matter of the show was not really his cause, Okay. And but as after this incident, he seems like he feels passionate about the way he feels that he was treated by this radio company, and how he felt that they found the word ganja to be discriminatory, we don't really want to represent this, and Michael has walked away feeling that they were not only were they racist, but they were the entire fact of legalization, or the fact that it cures cancer, or that it does he kept going. He goes, well, we just think, are you going to have a bunch of stoner hippies there? Is that who's going to be going to the show? And he goes, and he goes, you guys legalized it. What do you mean, hippie people? You guys, it's legal. And he said that they treated the subject matter as if it was an illegal, it was still illegal, even though he would continue to point out to them, it's legal.
Yeah.
Your state has legalized it. And then
Richland, Washington here.
The ultimate hypocrisy of it all is that their rock station website has a picture of a cartoon character smoking a joint from the fabulous Furry Freak Brothers.
Sure.
So like they're actually marketing and like showing it, and there's the quote like something like, "It's better to be poor and have really good dope than to have a lot of money and have really bad dope."
Money will get dope will get you 2 times no money. Better than money will get you times no dope.
Yeah.
I can't think of how many radio stations I've heard too, where like at 20 after or 420, wherever it was 420, there'd be some in our back in Idaho, it was Randy. It was some jingle thing. It's like Randy says, and it'd be a stereotypical stoner character, and it's 20 after or some shit like that. It's always, they're more than willing to play to the stereotype to make ratings, to make money, but try to do a show. Oh no, my goodness, we wouldn't want to promote marijuana.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and he just, and then they still were willing to take his money if we just wanted to advertise on there. And that offended him too. He was like, really? And so he wrote an editorial piece. That's how I'm kind of like remembering to quote it. And he's also told me the story a lot, but he was like, "Terry, we're going to contact the papers. I'm going to let them know about this." And he goes, we'll blog about it. And, we just got to get the message out. This is just ridiculous. It's discrimination. And it's coming from, but I feel that's what's indicative of the mainstream media. Like they've been bought off by the corporations, and either that or the people that are hired there have bought into the whole bullshit of everything, and they're just like echo barking dogs at some like fabricated lie. Am I off the mark?
You are on the mark, and we're going to stay on that mark. We're going to take a short little break because dry mouth happens, and we'll be right back
after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors.
Hey, we have a phone call coming in on our line at 971-533-7111. You're on the air with Toker Talk Radio. What's on your mind?
Hey, Terry, it's Rupert.
Hey, Rupert.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad you called in, and I kind of like, I don't know, you'll see when we watch it, but I kind of briefed everyone on like a little bit like of what happened. So
right.
I'm thinking maybe you could just like let us know in your own words what that experience was for you.
Well, it was really set me back a couple of steps. Yeah, it was almost insulting. Because it reminded me of stuff that I went through, back in the 60s. When people were making decisions on based on who you were, whether they wanted to associate with you or not. It's like, well, I have nothing against you personally, but I just can't be, seen associating with you. So that's all I kind of feel about what we're doing with the Ganja Palooza show and, medical marijuana and the legalization thing. It's like, organizations, corporations, or even people saying, well, we're kind of behind you and we respect your right to freedom. We just don't want to be seen with you.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's hypocritical and is as bigoted as you get.
Yeah, we see this all the time with, these businesses, these legal businesses in the medical marijuana industry that'll get denied checking accounts and merchant services and all insurance, all the things that, law-abiding businesses would normally have no trouble getting. But, yeah, it's just another way we get discriminated against.
But yet they still will take your money.
Oh, yeah.
So you could be a medical marijuana patient, and I don't see any Walmart, Kmart, Pennies, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, we can't sell you anything. I mean, they'll take money faster than anybody. But to try to express your freedom, your voice, when they go to radio stations, go, like that, we're going to pull our advertising if we associate with people. Yeah. So, and I think it's time for, I'm kind of behind the curve on this because, people like Terry and you, Russ, were doing this a long time ago, and the people that were going to, occupy and those kind of things, were getting their voice out there. I'm a little behind the curve on it, but you know what? It's like when it starts slapping you in the face, that's the time to stand up because, who's next, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct, and trying to fight against this and trying to keep the word out is why we do what we're doing here, and we try to build these social networks. I'm optimistic with the power we have now with internet and social networking to at least get around some of these roadblocks. Is that working for you too?
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, that's why I got behind Terry and helping her produce, her show. Is that, it's a great show. It's got a great message, out there, and there's no networks that are going to grab that, and say, oh yeah, that's an interesting thing. They would rather put some kind of reality show with old rich women with stretched out faces cussing at each other. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's associate with that.
Hey,
but let's not associate with people that are trying to do positive things, for our environment and for the world and for their fellow citizens. Let's just really show a bunch of people that are the nastiest type of human beings that they could possibly be. Yeah, that's what we want to promote.
Yeah, if there's only some way we could merge it and just have the Real Housewives of Humboldt County.
But I think we can. I mean, and this is where I feel like what we're doing right now is a new medium, and there is also an industry that's booming that's going to need to have marketing go through it. And I think that's maybe like where we can take our power back. I saw a film recently. It was actually it's a documentary with Woody Harrelson was narrating, and they go. It wasn't Grass. It was another one, and it talked about it spent more time on the economic fall that happened in the country, and it went more into what people would say, oh my God, that's conspiracy theorist stuff. But at the end, it said, we're asking you to open your mind and look and follow some of the steps and see if some of this doesn't seem to be at least true for you somewhere. And they go, so what's the solution that we can stop these, corporations or, the discrimination? Because obviously this discrimination is happening for a reason. If we can stop spending our money there, we don't want your oil anymore, okay? We know that there's a way that we can run our cars on something else. And you know what? I'm going to take my money that I've been giving you and I'm going to give it to these people. And therefore we take the power back and we create the industry that we can actually begin to we're sustaining the planet, we're sustaining each other, and we don't have to rely on this other bullshit that oh really, you don't want us on your radio station? Okay, fine. You know what? We'll just tell people about how you treated us. And because guess what? We have a microphone too now.
All right. Power to the people. Hell yeah. So let's talk about yes. Power. So the Ganja Palooza show itself is...
Yeah, well, we are doing a show on 420, and we are at the M Bar Restaurant, Bar Lounge and Grill, and there's going to be two...
Terry, it's the M Hotel in the Tuscany Bar and Grill.
Oh, I'm sorry, I screwed up. I'm glad you're here because, I would have completely messed up on it. But it's got Jay London in it from Last Comic Standing. He's going to be in it. We have Ungayo Bilum. And who's, everybody does know Ungayo.
And I owe him a big-ass sandwich.
Yeah, we know them.
Niners-Packers bet that I lost.
And we've got Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr.
Retired.
And he's going to be making an appearance on the show. And then myself, and it's basically it's a 4 headliner show, or it's and that's how we're approaching it, and we're doing it for the celebration of the legalization of marijuana. It's we wanted to bring something there, and also to participate in what is the beginning of freedom in the United States, and again, you come up against this radio station that goes, oh, no, we're not going to back that. We're actually still shaming you for being who you are. Not only that, but we're also going to pretty much not even acknowledge what is going on or what you've just done. Really?
Yeah.
Then you're basically showing me what is your agenda then.
Yep. Absolutely.
If you're so staunch that a radio station isn't catering to their public,
Yeah.
You know?
Except on the wink side.
Oh, except for your graphics, so that their eyes will focus on what you're doing. Okay, fine.
Yeah. So we have.
But overall, it's going to be like a really, really, really fun show. I mean, it's not a lot of preachy stuff. I mean, there's actually it's just for really good comedians doing really good comedy. We've got 2 shows: 6:30 show and a 9 o'clock show. And then to close it all out, we're going to be hanging out and dancing the night away with 2 reggae bands, which is going to be great. Except for the fact that when they told us it's going to be reggae bands, I was expecting Jamaicans and dreads, and it's like frat boys playing reggae music. It's hilarious. But I listened to their stuff online, and they're really good.
Now, what's the band's name?
So, boy, I have to go to our webpage and look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head. They're out of L.A. and they're on a big tour.
We'll check it out. We'll check it out on break here and get the names of that. If you hold on the line here, we've got some video of Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr. retired.
Yeah.
So we'll throw to that, and when we come back, we'll have the names of those bands and talk more about Ganja Palooza coming up. So check this video out.
And today we have an expert witness. He is Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr. retired. Thank you so much for
Where did you get my bio at? I don't touch hands because of germs. Is this part of the show now?
It is part of the show. Just go with me here.
Here's another reason that I am undercover is because I do not actually represent the police force.
Tell your age.
Are you going to touch me with some acid in your hand? I don't need to be drunk. I'm not admitting anything. No, I did not say that. I'm on the internet. What?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Just like that. Hurry, we got you now.
Can we get that taken off the internet? First off, the law enforcement agents do not go woo-hoo. I have children in both of those states, and I can tell you right now, I do not want them exposed to marijuana.
Thank you for
I'm on the damn show right now.
We will be right back.
How does she know about my bio?
We'll be...
If there were no laws, could you imagine what would happen to the police officer's pension fund? And I would fill it all with my mini camera, which is right here on the glasses, in the name of Jesus, my Savior. Were the reefers with you, and you were not in the state of Washington or Colorado, I would be obligated by my American citizenship to take you down. What?
Thank you so much. And you know what? We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
You're lying. She's lying. There's always one area of the law that's not being covered, and I can pretty much do whatever I want to once you're pulled over. But I've seen what it does to people. It makes them go woo-woo. What was in that coffee that you gave me? And I've been roofied? I was a security guard for over 27 years, Terry.
You know, what is the difference between a DUI and a DUII?
Well, actually, Terry, as an expert in this area, I will tell you that is not one of the questions that they are asking the most of. But I will answer your question, and that is the letter I is added to the second one above the first. Well, why would it be any different? Because I know that you already are growing your own marijuana and supplying it to your family and friends and to strangers. Even this television.
He does.
Yes. What are now you're insinuating I'm a homosexual?
I'm fired.
Well, a woman with large boobs, first off, sometimes they can be implants or she could just be very fat. What has happened to my country? We want more laws put on the book because that puts food on our table to feed our children. And I have children in both the states of Washington and Colorado.
Where that came from?
No gun.
No, I mean...
Gay marriage is okay, you smoke marijuana.
I'm not
3 strikes and you are out, little missy. Hey, interject with something that makes punchy, Terry.
What is that?
I smoked marijuana before the show.
You did?
Yes, I did. I wanted to find out what the effects would be if I came onto a television show under the influence of the marijuana, and since we are filming here in the state of Washington, it is legal, and I have no problem with that. I had to find out what would happen. I came onto the show.
We're really not in the state of Washington.
Wait a minute. If you want to be a liberal, left-wing nutcase,
you should see the doctor.
I suppose gay marriage is okay for you, too. I don't suppose you have a gun either.
I don't have a gun.
Oh, my God. You don't like role play then, I guess. Fine. You don't want any costumes? We'll do it.
You know what?
Bareback if you want to. I'll show you no costumes.
All right now.
If you're carrying illegal marijuana, then someone's going to try to steal it from you. You better have a gun to blow them away.
Like, it's really, it's a pleasure. And tell your story.
No, don't mock me.
It sends us here to the studio.
Oh, my God.
That was Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr. retired.
Home 5. Have you indulged in the reefers before the show? I don't understand what you're talking about right now.
Yes, we've been engaging in the reefer. That's Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr. retired.
Yeah.
What can you say about
hurts.
What can you say about Sergeant Detective Harry Palmer Jr. retired that hasn't already been said in a court of law?
Right.
Satire.
I love him, and he's going to be coming back on the show, I believe, regularly.
Good.
Yeah, so as a regular guest and an expert witness and stuff. And so, yeah.
Comedian folk are the best folk, I'd say.
Yeah.
We were talking about earlier too how when he does this gig, and I've learned from doing the Project Sam website, there's a lot of people in our community that don't get satire.
No.
They don't
get upset.
Yeah.
They don't do enough research to get satire.
That's the point.
Yeah, because like people like take this like what he like we were at the world famous Cannabis Cafe and he was doing the character and this guy he goes, that's profiling, and he starts walking up and we're like, oh my god, he really thinks it's real. He's real, it's like
Yeah, it's amazing, but love the work he's doing, and he'll be there at the Ganja Palooza in Gaio. Jay London, you.
And it's just going to be reggae music and fun and bong pong, and we're just going to have like a great time,
And that's after the two shows.
After the two shows. Well, we're not gonna do the bong pong before the show. we should put that in the contract. Like no performers to do bong pong before the show.
Yes.
So there's 420, and where can people go as far as getting tickets and information?
You can go to atomiccomedy.com /Ganja Palooza, and that'll take you right there. You can also just kind of surf through everything. It has our bios and what the show's all about, and how you can be a sponsor if you want to too. So yeah, I mean, come and and we're also been invited to take it to Colorado as well. So it's going to be something that we're planning on doing on a regular basis, especially to focus on the states that have been the pioneers in the freedom and legalizing it. And we want to eventually add music, or because we are adding music actually. So yeah. So I mean, but yeah.
Here's the website, atomiccomedy.com /Ganja Palooza.
You got censored.
Links on. I got to do links on first. Links on. I always feel like the Human Torch when I do that. Links on.
Links on.
Links off. All right, so there you go.
Links on so he can flame, and then links
right. atomiccomedy.com /Ganja Palooza, and just checking out the website here. Looks really great. Atomic Comedy Network has got all sorts of good shows. Hollywood Hemptress Hour, Sativa with Ron Osborne.
Yeah. Ron Osborne has a show, and and he, it's a sattva. It's for yoga. He's like he's a yogi comic, and so and we're looking to add different types of programming to it. That our mission statement is like comedians that are somehow like telling the truth, or kind of really being, I guess to me I fantasize of being like Bill Hicks, what I mean?
Man, no kidding.
Yeah, you know what I mean, like comics like that, or George Carlin or Richard Pryor. I mean, it's the honesty level that makes them great. Lenny Bruce, I mean, Lenny Bruce was like, I mean really, it's not about like he was able to say profanity, like cuss words. It was that he was pointing out against the institution. It was the institution's feeling that they had the right to do it, was what was like he was saying, and he threw in the Catholic Church, and I mean, he really did things that that it was like, I don't think people like even knew the scope of what he was like actually really saying to them.
No kidding.
And,
we'll have to bring up that again another time. But now that you're here in Portland, Oregon, I hope to see you here more often.
Oh, thank you.
Come in anytime. Hour 2 is all yours. The chat room loves you. But we got to go. For Terry Joyce and Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. Thanks for joining us for Toker Talk Radio. We'll see you next Monday. And until next time, take care of each other, tokers.